Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy, P Farm. Thank you, right? Out here in the lab, the sun is coming up. I'm getting so glad, but I'm out here doing what I do for you. I got a little lesson today, but let's talk about that ego. Just give you a heads up, okay? Let's go. Rightism. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give you life lessons, and you tune in and receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinkers' way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you will when I'm through? That's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not, foolish, disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not, it's simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do. For you, I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and think and believe that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers? Know thyself and to my eye. Be true. Right thinkers, I got to come back around again like the boomerang. I put out there a long time ago. Obviously, it didn't take effect. I'm coming back again. Let's talk about the ego. Right thinkers, to reach spiritual enlightenment in life, your ego has to know who's the boss. If the ego is in control, you're not enlightened. Let's talk about it. Wait a minute, no. Let's talk about it. Your ego thinks it's the boss. Again, ignorant. Your higher self, the Haru in you, Set is your ego, Haru is your higher self, and Haru, what, knows he's the boss and can prove it. That's the difference between talking about it and being about it. Let's go. Your ego is talking about it. Your higher self is about being about it. Let's talk about it. Your ego self, aka that ego, is like Goliath. It has one weapon. You know what that is? False evidence appearing real. What the? Fear. That's the acronym for fear. Fear is you creating false evidence and believing it's real. And that causes you to draw back, to hesitate, to flinch. Okay? When there's no fear, there's no hesitation, there's no flinching. Perfect example, when Kobe Bryant, when the guy was going and playing basketball, and the guy's pissed off with him, and Kobe standing in front of him playing defense, he got the ball, and he pushed it in front of Kobe's face, he ain't budge. He didn't flinch. That's having conquering over ego. That's having your ego under control. You control that. It don't control you. Average person would have freaked out. He didn't even budge. But man, I freaked out. I thought he was going to do something. He didn't. No fear. Your ego, a.k.a. Goliath, have to be what? Defeated. David had no fear. Why? He wasn't he wasn't giving a damn about none of that meant nothing to him. He's just a country boy, a farm here, doing what he do, under auspices of God, doing what he's supposed to do, and he's always blessed. He had the task to go, defeating him. Okay, I'll be right back, go get my stones. So when there's no fear, all you do is what? Plan, strategizing. I'm a chess player. So you're always calculating where a few moves ahead, moving on. Know your opponent, first of all, and always respect them. Never fear them. Okay? And that whole purpose of the ego, it has a limit. The ego is limited. Why? Because it has a limit that it won't cross. What? Because of fear. Fear will make them back up. Okay? But its only weapon is fear. It looks big and bad, but it's really not. And everybody who challenged that Goliath concept, find out when they go through it, oh, it wasn't all that. Like in the dream state, they said if you fall, you'll die. No, you won't. A lot of people won't find that out. Why? Fear. Fear. It pulls you out the dream. You wake up. I was falling. Most people wake up. See it through. Just saying. I'm a lucid dreamer. I'm just giving advice. Again, from experience. Let's get back to this ego. See, the ego, if it's in control, it prances around. Until what? It meets somebody that's better than them, which is Haru. Okay? That's the true you. That's the difference. And that's how you got to conquer the ego with enlightenment, with knowledge. The ego is ignorant of what? His higher self. Ego, edge God out. Higher self is what? The carnation of God in the flesh. That's your higher self. Trying to let the lower self, man, listen, this is what we're doing. That's controlling or conquering the ego self. Your ego, watch this, is comfortable being ignorant. It don't want to be enlightened. It don't give a damn about God. It thinks it's God. So your higher self is not going for that nonsense. So that's the mortal war right there. Internal war. You are your worst enemy. Why? Your ego self. Y'all call it the devil, Satan. Y'all make a whole bunch of names. The ancients gave you the simple formula. Simple ego. Okay, Carl Jung, the psychiatrist for the 20th. Okay, modern day, the id. I agree. Identification with the I. I ain't got no problem with that. But I'm telling you, from our ancient ancestors, we already knew that. Y'all want to call something different, that's fine, but I'm telling you what it is, and you can work with it any way you want. It's the ego self. That's the I. That's the me. That's the selfish part of you that a lot of us are comfortable with. Some people go through life on their ego. Simple. And when you're successful in your endeavors, why change? To the end when it's too late. Most of them, when it's too late, it's too late. Simple as that. You had your fun. You had your run. Now you got to pay the consequences. See, that's the part they don't tell you about. That's the fine print. When you're dealing with God, there's no fine print. There's no, ooh, I didn't know that. Oh, transparency. You do this, I'll do that. In the discussion, we ain't got to go back and forth. Simple. It ain't that hard. Why? If it ain't going to college. It ain't getting a scholarship to go get more higher education. Self-education is the best education. So self-knowledge is the best knowledge. Use it. When you defeat your ego, how? With knowledge and with righteous and good deeds, selfish service, doing what's right, living right, and the devil have no wiggle room when you live in God conscious, or what y'all call it, being prayed up, whatever you call it. But when you live in it, he recognized that. Why? He's the all-seeing. He knows your heart. He knows your intent. And for all y'all who perpetrating, being a man of God and all that good stuff the whole time, doing you, we shouldn't worry about them. Why? They should worry about themselves. You can pray for them, but they got their own issues to deal with in their own time. That's God's time. God's time is when you and him had that judgment. Oh yeah, he got his time. Your time is doing it right now. When you get before him, ain't gonna be no bunch of talking. Zip it. Your actions will show. Give me your heart. Why? That's where everything lies at. That's why the ancients knew that thousands of years ago. Sorry, I get caught up on that every time. But you don't enlighten your ego. You conquer it. Why? You put it in a service position. Why? It only know one thing. Like the honey badger. You can't corral that damn thing. What? It's on its own accord. But your ego is pretty much the same way, but you can corral it. All right. I heard so-called spiritual advisors, and this drives me crazy. You got to kill the ego. You got to, no. That's your identity. You can't do that. You got to conquer it. That's what I say, Put it in the service position. Why? That's all it knows is do. All it knows is it's action feel. That's your emotion. It's ready to go. It don't care. It's just ready. It'll fight anything and anybody, anytime, any place. It don't care. But when you can put it in your service control, when you control it, you let it out when you need it. I tell you, if I wake up sometimes, I'm a little sluggish. Okay, ego, your time. I'm up moving. Yeah, I'm going. What? I'm on ego now. I'm on ego time. He don't give a crap. He ain't tired. He ain't none of that. So when you can use it to your benefit, it's a beautiful thing. Trust me. You see him fighting Rod on the boat. When they're on Apophis' back. He's so big, they're on his back. And everybody's like this, petrified because he's so big, a Goliath concept. They freaking out. Only one still fighting is Set, your ego. And he's supposed to be bad. No, he's not bad. He's fighting evil, okay? He will fight evil for good. He's protecting Ra. Moving on. All right, calm down. I get hyped thinking about the whole concept. It just makes a lot of sense. I just try to make it make sense to you, so I get caught up in that. But your ego had to be conquered. Put him in the position of service. They misunderstand the ego. Your ego is who you identify with from birth, from the time. You know that if you cry, somebody gonna come. You make justice, somebody gonna come. The ego said, this is gonna be all right. Okay, so from birth, you have an ego. Okay, which want to be what? Service. Stroked, taken care of. Okay, your ego needs to be put in check. Controlled. Why? That's an emotion that if it's on its own, it's going to run amok. Okay, that's the fetter cause that you're going to do a whole bunch of not good stuff. All right, and your higher self is how you check the ego. Okay, live right, do right, suppress him and raise your conscious level, your higher self, and live under that. They say, let your conscience be your God, your higher conscious. That's the God conscious. If you listen to that gut, whatever that voice that tells you sometimes, no, you shouldn't do that. Remember that? Remember the good angel and the devil? That's your brain. One side's good, one side's bad. No, not all the time. But you can use that as an example. But you got to use both sides of the brain as one. That's the key. Okay? Now, you don't, well, you got the ego. Okay, now the ego, your ego is all about what? Doing, action. That's your emotion. Fighting, competing. So it's always ready for fight. It's always got a chip on its shoulder. It's always looking for who the baddest man in town. Yeah, I'm Yosemite saying the baddest rooting to. That's your ego. It runs around just talking trash and saying nothing to most people who really don't give a crap. But yeah, those who listen, but those who don't, make a difference. You don't enlighten your ego. No, it ain't it. Some things, some wild stallions, all horses can't be ridden. Why? They ain't gonna allow it. All wolves, and wolves, you can't domesticate a wolf. Some things nature won't allow. Why? They used to be free. That's why putting birds in cage, that ain't cool. They're supposed to fly. They can't fly in their cage. Moving on. But your ego can't be enlightened. You don't enlighten it. You just what? Use it to what? Your advantage. Not let it use you. Don't let it control you. Put it under your control. That's when the main obstacles in what? Becoming enlightened. That ego thing. Ego and spiritual enlightenment, they don't go together. They opposite for a reason. Trust me. Ego means ignorant. Spiritual enlightenment means to know God. They can't occupy the same space. If you're egoistic, then you're unenlightened, you're ignorant, and you all about yourself. You know people like that? All they care about is them. Everything they do is about them. Those are ego-driven people. And a lot of them are successful. Elon Musk, the numbnuts, Captain Chaos, all ego-driven. All pure ego. Nothing for anybody else. Nothing for no. And if you think either one of them mean anybody good but themselves, you a damn fool. That's ego in its purest form. Why? They full of it. Trust me. And when you get enlightened, meaning that heart chakra opens up to you, compassion to other people, they haven't reached that level. They're still on the third level. They're still on the low level. They're going to get eaten by Ahmet just as quick as they get there. Moving on. Why? They got no compassion, no empathy for nobody but themselves. That's why they fail. That's why the rich man will never get into heaven. He never passed the scales of my eye. Okay? Greed. When you get enlightened, that means you have reached the level of what? Control over what? The ego self. That's the 4th level. I just gave you 7 chakras. And the 3, that's what we have right now. And we ain't controlled by people on the 3rd level. We haven't had a 7th level leader. If we ever. Okay, we got to go back to ancient times. Why? Somebody who mean good for the people. Somebody who mean, like he said, for the people. We had pharaohs who did that. Not presidents. No. Politicians. No. Why they liars? Sorry about that. But the ego-driven, the simple as that. Moving on. Okay, that's ego at its best in politics. Without self-knowledge, you're ego-driven. You are ego-driven, not enlightened. And you will do whatever you think or feel you have to do, no matter to who, what, and where it is. Simple as that. That's why we're in the position we're in now as a society. We got a clown in control. Before I was enlightened, I was out of control. I was ego tripping, swift flipping, body snatching, living wrong, daily. That was my life. Living wrong was my life for years. So if you can live wrong for years, they let you run, and you tell you, okay, I'm tired of this nonsense. I had a nice little 5-year run. So I thought. But hell, 3 years, I gave that back. So in 8 years of my life, 5 good, 3 not good. That's not a good, I don't want them odds. Simple as that. I ain't got to be a gambler, man. I don't gamble, so I don't want them odds. So I changed my life around. Now I got 40 years on the good side. Ain't look back. Okay? So that's the difference in what? Your ego-driven people and becoming enlightened. Simple. With spiritual enlightenment, I now live what? Righteous. When? Daily. And I teach others to do the same thing. I got a philosophy that I'm teaching others that I figured out over the years. Simple. I'm just going to help others out with it. Could care less about a whole bunch of the nonsense. Your ego will try and stop you. Why would it do that? Why? It wants to stay in control. If you don't control it, if you don't put your foot on his neck, he going to be a problem. Okay? But once you corral him, once you get him where you want him, he'll be your most loyal subject. How about that? Okay? Your worst enemy becomes your best friend. And go vice versa. Think about it. Okay. What's this? Your ego would try and stop you from what? Reaching your higher self, your goal of what? Spiritual enlightenment. Know thyself. Nihas. The ego is anti all of that. So until you take care of that, you'll never get there. That's my point. And your ego don't think it needs to be enlightened. Again, it don't think at all. It just do. It could care less about thinking. So it will do whatever it can to what? Stop you. It's fighting you now. Yeah. Your lower self and your higher self is that, I call that's the moral war that's inside all of us. That good and bad, that's what's going on. And if your ego is winning, your life don't seem to be going well. Simple as that. Think about it. When you start living right, your life seems to be going right. If we could teach our young that concept for themselves, every individual kid know that if I go to school, I do my homework, I listen to the teacher, I play with the kids right, I do things right, everything will be fine. Yep. But no, they got to worry about trauma at home, somebody trying to molest them, all that. That's not how a child should be raised. And when a person with ego, they will take advantage of children all the time, every time. They pervert it. And those worst kind, okay? They family members. Think about that. That's why I always try to hide them. Everybody who get abused, they shame. No. If you're a victim of abuse, tell somebody. Tell me, I'll tell somebody. Why? We got to stop that. Simple as that. If they do it to you, they're going to do it to somebody else. Somebody got to stop them. Young people, don't get afraid. Don't be because it's your uncle, aunt, cousin. No, none of that matters. Stop them from doing it. Okay, tell somebody they did it to you. You report them. Prosecute them. Don't have no love and respect for them. No, any abuser need to be dealt with harshly. And for anybody who's a victim, you need to go tell somebody and get help and have them dealt with. In our neighborhood, we didn't have that problem, but they knew we would deal with them, so they didn't do it. Simple. Punishment is deterrent. It's a deterrent from you doing it, because if you do this, we're going to do this. Simple. We teach our kids that. This discipline. Moving on. Sorry to get off this track, but that whole thing pisses me off. But again, my ego, your ego, okay, my ego had me doing all the wrong things for all the wrong reasons. Okay, I thought that was the way to go. I was wrong. And the best thing about yourself is admit when you was wrong. Don't try to blame nobody. No, take responsibility. Man, I'm all in. Your ego will fight you tooth and nail. Why? To keep you from reaching spiritual enlightenment. And some of us won't put up a fight. Some of us just give in willingly and just go with the ego. Just let it, just have it way. And to the end. Moving on. Everybody good to the end. All right. The good thing about good people, they don't panic in the end. They don't freak out in the end. Why is that? Comfort in knowing thyself. Comfort in knowing that you and God are one. And if you leave it here, you're going to Him. That's why. When you don't know where you're going, like Sam could say, I don't know what's up there beyond the cloud. I don't know what's on the other side. Nobody do. But you put the odds in your favor when you do right while you're here. How about that? Saying, well, I don't know, and wild out while you're here, and then come and find out, well, I could have done different. Yeah, you think? That's why you're coming back. That's what they do to reincarnation. So moving on, the ego don't care about reincarnation. Okay, that's another thing. You could care less. The hieroglyphic for the ego self with a man with a hatchet to his head means self-destructive. Okay, moving on. You don't want your lower self in control. Why? It's destructive. It will destroy you. Okay, don't care about itself. Moving on. All right, your ego. Okay, when I checked my ego, I was then able to reach my spiritual enlightenment levels of my life I couldn't reach before when our ego was in control. That's why he never checked his. I know that for a fact. But if you can't control your emotions, your lower self, cheating, conniving, and sleeping around, that's going to be your lifestyle. Okay, until what? They cut the lights out and you be back here and make a decision that's like, I ain't going to do that again. You think? Okay, but your emotions and your actions, fulfilling your lower nature desires, that's your ego. And it won't give up. You got to conquer him. You got to beat him down. Okay. If you can't control it, it will control you. Simple as that. That's a fact. Wrapping it up. Again, I see the clock. Sorry about that. But I'm trying to get my point across. This ego thing has got a whole bunch of tentacles to it. I'll be back with some more. But right now, let me wrap this up. To becoming spiritually enlightened, that means, the first thing that means is you have conquered your ego. Why? Because you can't reach it without that. That's why. That's the first step. And I tell you, the tree of life. Okay. Your ego, when you conquer it, now, like anything else, he's in a service position. He'll do whatever you tell him to do. Now you have control. Simple as that. It don't control you. When you can do that for your lower self, you're good to go. Now, what is it? Oh, now my ego is what? My servant. I control him. I put him to work. No longer, okay, do he master me. I put him to work, and he's my best worker. Why? He never complains. Simple. He gonna do. He don't care. He don't care. So that's why you want them people. You need one of them guys on your team. Somebody who just gonna do. Put them in the right position. Go that way and then turn them loose. They call them berserkers. Okay, the Vikings, they would get all hyped up, get all high, and they just go crazy. Okay, they don't care. Again, they turn their ego loose. They charge that ego up and turn them loose. All right. Your ego. Again, understand this. Just like your body, your spirit, can't leave the body. It's along for the ride too, until death. It can't leave. Okay, it's locked in. Again, excuse me. Your ego also can die. It's spiritual. It's eternal. It connected to your spirit self. It don't know that though. That's the key. It don't know. It just think it's on its own. They're just fighting for and fight whoever. They don't care. But when you control it, put it in the right direction, it'll be your best ally. Your ego self, wrapping it up. Your ego is ignorant. It's going to remain ignorant. Okay? That's not the problem. You do the thinking. Let the ego do what the ego does. You put it in the service position and it'll do what it does. How about that? That's another lesson. Hopefully you got the concept about your ego self. You control it. It don't control you. That's the concept. That's the lesson. In closing, right thinkers, may y'all live to be 100. Me, 100 minus a day. So I never know that my right thinkers have passed away. Knowing their ego self. Put them in check.